Hi, this is Frank Orlando. It is August 16th, 2024 on a Friday night. So occasionally I have like repressed memories of things that were spoken to me a long time ago that I just forget. And then something very important to me came to me about my heritage, which my mother spoke to me when I was like 10 years old. And for some reason, I forgot it. And it's about my Native American background, which I can't absolutely 100% confirm. But here's the deal. So one day, a memory came back recently of a conversation I had with my mother when she was younger, and she liked to go around barefooted. And one day, she takes her shoes off and she shows me her dirty feet. And she said that her father had just revealed to her that we were part Native American and that we are part of the tribe of the Blackfeet or Blackfoot tribe. And she was giggling about it. And now I think that in the conversation that she said my dad was going to take me to Paula so that I could get, because now you are part Native American. But I'm not 100% sure. But what did happen is our whole family packed up, sold our home. I know sold our house in Florida when I was like 10 years old. And we went on this trip up to New York, and he had to show me where he hung out in Coney Island and all that. And then we went down, and so it was right near when Elvis died. We went through Tennessee, and then eventually we wound up on an Indian reservation called Paula. And I lived, now where it is a casino, and it was a campground. So we lived on this campground, and my dad worked there and I was going to go to a Catholic school on the Indian reservation, Paula. Now that's not who we are, and that's not, the Paula tribe is in California. So anyhow, at 10 years old, I did a Native American sweat with me and my father on this Indian reservation, or not far off from it in California. And later on in life, my father, something happened to him and he lost his memory. I had to, so he never said much after that. A few years later, he didn't even acknowledge me as a son. Something tragic happened to him. So he's been alive, he lived for a very long life, but he didn't acknowledge me as his son. So after something happened to him, he had the mindset of a 5-year-old. Something happened tragically. So anyhow, when I was in my early 20s, I had these memories of doing a sweat lodge with my father, trying to grasp it. And so I studied Native American culture. I finally had left the church, but I was still spiritual and whatever. So I knew that I wanted to understand why my father had me do this sweat lodge. And so I read this book. And I'm living on a 2-story house, and I build this sweat lodge out of cherry laurel. And so when you strip the bark, it has this wonderful sweet cherry smell. And I had a fire station right behind my house where I was renting a 2-story house, a room, an apartment, not a room, a beautiful apartment, but I had to fix it up. It was kind of rough then, but it was reasonable at the time on Willow Street in Tampa, near downtown Tampa, near the University of Tampa. And so I built this sweat lodge. I just met this beautiful girl named Tanya Lane, redhead, gorgeous figure, a little alternative girl. And she probably freaked out. I had these punkers across from me, punk rockers and alternative people. It was kind of a freaky area back then, artists and stuff. And they see me build this lodge, and I did the first sweat lodge. And the weird thing was, I got this flyer to go to a tribe of people made up of all races. And I won't describe the name because I've been asked to repress that. But it did practice some Native American ceremonies, and it's part of their culture. And so I won't use that name because, anyhow, that group. So, anyhow, after so many years, I was practicing doing Native American sweats. I did some protests with American AIM, which I have mixed feelings about. I dated a Choctaw Indian girl who was drawn to me. I thought actually when I met her, she was so dark, she was African American, but she was Choctaw and beautiful, and I still think it was one of the best women, most sexiest women I ever met. Gorgeous, beautiful lady. Her name was Fanima. That was her Native American name. And it's a beautiful story. Anyhow, she was, I miss her, and she met up with some Seminoles, or met at a Seminole powwow. She had always wanted, she warned me, now if you take me to there, my boyfriend didn't want me going there, so I had a promise I would take her there, and so she met up with some Native Americans, full-bloods, and they just took her away, and that was the end of our relationship. But I had really long hair. I was a young man then, so I looked like you see in the pictures, only I have blondish brown hair. I don't have any hair on my cheeks. They won't grow on my cheeks at all. So anyhow, my mom, so recently, I ran into an AIM member, and she got mad at me and goes, "You shouldn't do Native American sweats because you're a white man, and that's not your place to do that." And so I haven't done it. Any Native American sweats, anything in like 2025. I just got burned out. It's a lot of work to build it, and after I done it 10 times or whatever, I just stopped doing it. I did prayers, and I did it as honorable as possible. So anyhow, upon a memory came back to me of my mother telling me that I'm a part Blackfoot tribe. So I'm like 1/8 or 1/16. So my great grandmother was probably a Blackfoot tribe. So this is a picture of her. Her name is Edna Jerichow, after she married Herman Jerichow's father. And this is an adopted family. So what we think happened is the adopted family kind of just kept it quiet that she was Native American, and she got adopted by this white family up in Michigan or whatever, or Canada. There was some suggestion that she dropped down from Canada into Michigan and she was Native American, and they just kind of, like, the whole family just kept it a big hush-hush because nobody really, so they weren't Native American, and so she got took in, and then Herman's father, my grandfather's father, married her, and they had children. So this is a picture of her, and she looks really, it's not a real good picture. There was a big print, but she looks very Native American. She's got dark hair, and her face is really full. So I believe that she's Native American, and my mom told me that, and I so now that repressed memory, and I did Native American sweats, and I felt the energy, really powerful things happened in my life where I connected with people. I got this flyer shortly right after the sweat lodge. I got this flyer to go and meet up with people who did sweat lodges. They were people of all races, and I met a very special person named Felipe, who I don't know that he's alive. He's a Native American with that group of people, and he led sweats. And I always just came across really as a white man, but I have part Native American, so I feel like all this time, I'm 57 years old, and this repressed memory came back to me of something that my mother shared, a part of my heritage. So I'm really excited now because I can study the Blackfeet culture and tribe and feel connected to them. And also, so there is a group, my families, we have families that are also, but they may not acknowledge that Native American part. So anyhow, to the rest of my families, extended families, the Jerichows from that are German descendants who came from Michigan with Herman, and the Jerichows that are currently in Michigan. We have Blackfeet, I think, unless somebody can dispute that and correct me. We are Blackfeet, but I might get in trouble because it's always been this real hush-hush secret thing. So anyhow, this is Edna Jerichow, who could be full-blooded Blackfoot, my great-grandmother. Anyhow, that's my story. I'm really excited. I think my memory of my mom telling me that, and my dad trying to teach me Native American culture and having me live on an Indian reservation so that I have some, I mean, he didn't want to teach me Italian. He didn't want to teach me German culture. He wanted to teach me Native American. It's kind of funny. It's Italian American. And went out and had me on an Indian reservation doing sweat lodges. Kind of makes me laugh. How that's my story.